All right. Hello, Advanced Film. This is like take 20,000. If you hear some noise in the background, there is a turtle that has moved in with us, and he just seems to make lots of noise. Um, this is going to be a quick demo of how to make a composite, how to put things on left, right, how to add text, and how to animate stuff. I'll be referring to this. So first thing you want to do is you can drag and drop any footage from anywhere. So here's my window with footage, and I can drag and drop any piece of footage I'd like into this window here, right? So I can drag and drop any footage into my new project, and all my media stays here. Normally, I'm used to seeing media down here with Premiere. So that's the first difference, is that the media is in the upper left-hand corner. All right. After Effects likes to call their timeline sequences compositions rather than sequences. So it's the same thing for us. So we have Premiere calls them sequences, After Effects calls them compositions. So I'm just going to try and use those lingos here. What I want you to do is I want you to group your 4 shots that have the same shot but with different apertures, or same shot with different shutter speeds. You're going to lump them all together. The easiest way to do that is to have them all kind of preset. So for this shot here, right, with my dog and the close-ups, I have my buddy apertures 1, 5, 6, 7, and 4, right? And I could right click. Actually, I'll do these 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm holding down my shift key to select all of them, and if I right click, I can say new comp from that selection. This way, the composition is going to be made up perfectly with the settings of my footage. So I don't have to go to composition settings, which I'm going to show you how to do anyway. So I want them all to be in one composition, and I'm going to say OK. So now I get them all stacked, right? And it's called Aperture 4 because that was the top movie. It doesn't really matter. Now, to trim stuff, I like to use, under Edit, I can go to splitting the layer, Shift Command D. It's 6 one way, half so it doesn't matter. You can peel them aside, or you can just click on them and say Shift Command D. So I'm just going to move them over here a little bit. We only need a few seconds. I'm going to go right at the first second. Let's just hope everything's in focus after about 3 seconds. And I can shift select all of them and hit Command Shift D. And After Effects doesn't cut like Premiere does. Every single asset needs to be on its own track, which is something that is different than we're not used to in Premiere. So just keep that in mind. That's why we're going to make a composite within a composite, which is what we talked about in class. So I'm going to cut these again with Command Shift D. I did one at a time, or you can do multiple at a time, so it kind of keeps it consistent. And now I just have a 3-second clip, 4-second clip of every single shot. Right? I can just move those over here now. Now my in and out point I can grab, and it's only going to loop between those 2 blue points, which is again another difference. If all of them are selected and you change a quality, they'll all change. So I still have them all shift selected, and I clicked on this little triangle to open them up, and then I clicked on transform, and I'm going to go to scale, and I'm going to make them all 50%. I could do this one at a time, but it just shrunk all 4 of them into 50%. Now, each one goes to a different spot. So I'm going to drag one over here and grab the next one that is aperture 3, and then aperture 2, and then aperture 1. Okay. Now, I could memorize the exact. These are quarter points, so this is the midpoint, and then this is the quarter point. I could memorize those, or I can kind of get it close, and then that should round me up or round me down. So 1444 is actually 1440, oops, and 814 should actually be 810. And those are the quarter points for each one of these. And then for this one, I want my position to be 480 and 810, which had already, ooh, nice, and I landed that one. And then this one is 1440. 40. And this is 272, or excuse me, 270. And it's 1080 and 1920 divided by 2 plus a fourth of those numbers. That's how you get these numbers if you wanted to do math, but that's where you get them, just like that. I'm going to want to animate these, but before I do, I'm going to do text. So I'm going to go back up to the top. And unlike in Premiere where I have my tools right here, in After Effects they're up top. And luckily it's the same icon. So I'm going to type this in. I'm going to type in F 3.5. And if I wanted to change the color, right now it's a bright fuchsia. If I wanted to change it to something else, like instead I can make it a blue, right? Oops, I had to have them selected. Now I can change it to blue, but I kind of like the purple, right? Purple stands out. It's bright. It's obnoxious, you know. If you notice, you're like, I don't really need my composition to be 30 seconds long. That same place to change your settings is under Composition Settings, right? And this is where I would change the aspect ratio if I needed to. This is where I do the square pixel settings. This is where I do the frame rate. Everything's the same because I'm keeping it consistent with footage. And the duration of the clip, I really only need it to be about 5 seconds long, maybe even 4 seconds. So I can type in 500. And now you'll notice it's taking up almost the entire clip. Okay? And then I can, the next thing I make, the next graphic I make should only be 5 seconds long, not this atrocious 20 seconds long. The other thing I can do is I can copy and paste, right? So if I like this, I can go back to my arrow. I've selected it, position it. If I hold down the Alt Option key, I can now drag a second copy. Oops. Or not. I can just duplicate it over here. Fine. I'm going to duplicate it. I can just click on this track and hit Command D. There we go. And now I have a copy. And then this was 5.6. And notice I don't have to change any settings. And this, in case you can't find it, it's under Character. On the right, under Character, you can change the font. Everything's the same that you can do in Premiere. And then I'm going to Command D again, and then back to my arrow. I think that's V. Pull this down here, and this is going to be, I think this is F11. And then the darker one where I messed up and didn't recompensate, but we're keeping there because it's okay to have mistakes, especially in these projects. Oops. Like I just did, speaking of mistakes. And now I have an F. This is something really tiny. This is like 35. It was a really tiny hole, or something like that. All right, that's one comp, okay? So now what you want to do is notice the comp, or the composition, which is a sequence in Premiere, but in After Effects it's called composition, right? It has a different logo. So now what I can do is I can make a composition within a composition, right? So my composition now has a composition within it, and I'm going to change this duration. So I go to Composition, and I'm going to go to New Composition Settings, and instead of 5 seconds long, you need 5 pieces. So I'm going to make it about 30:00. Enter. And if I need to see more of the composition, right, it's right there. So where's my out point? Let's make this a little bit bigger. Does for that key work? No. Shoot. So like I said, this is where I would normally stop and re-record. So there's my entire sequence. This is what I'd call the master sequence. It looks like my text appears a little bit before my pictures. Now I could animate all of these things. I could animate my text. I could animate that. I'm just going to have them fade in. Okay. So I'm going to have my text be a little shorter. Whoops. Grabbing my edges. I could do the Shift D trick I was doing earlier, but I'm just going to trim the edges like so. Okay. And we got to animate a little bit. So for the text here, I'm going to animate the opacity, which is a nice, simple thing to do. So I'm going to start with a few frames in and click opacity. And then I'm going to go a few frames back and pull this down to 0. So that's it. We've done opacity before. And since I had all 4 of them selected, they all do it simultaneously. And I'll do it at the end too. So right here, I've already activated my stopwatch. I want to add a keyframe. So I hit that dot, that diamond, right? And then one more, just like we've done before, and pull them down. Okay. I am going fast. Rewind if I went too slow. Okay. So they all fade in and they all fade out now, which is nice and handy. However, each one of these is going to go a different way. So now for these pictures, I can keyframe them to start if I have them all shift selected, but they're all going to go a different way. So from here, I'm going to notice my scrubber is not at the beginning of the composition, but it's somewhere right around here in the middle. So I'm going to do position and scale. I'm going to go to the end over here. I'm going to hit the little diamond here, position and scale. And now each one I'm going to move independently because they're going to come from a different direction. So this guy, it's the lower right corner, so I'm going to have him slide out diagonally this way. And I can also just do it manually. Or can I? Double click. Oh, come on. Undo. Undo. Thank you. Nope. All right, now, oh, because I closed that. So what happened there was I opened this as its own thing. Let me put that back. This should be moving. Let me go right here. So now I can navigate to that keyframe. Am I on V? There we go. Now I can drag it as well. What happened was I double clicked on it and it activated that frame as its own composition. So then I had, see how I have all these extra tabs open where it's getting confusing? So that became its own open composition. I'm done with that. Oh, and then I wanted to move it out at the end. So again, I've already had it established with my group selection, so I'm going to have it just duck out. I'm going to repeat the same process with the 4 other marks. And so at the, I can just, since I'm already there with my scrubber, I can move it out. I wonder if I can just grab here and move it out. Oh, look at that. Grab this one. And because I already made those first establishing keyframes, I can move super fast. Now, I go to the beginning. I'm going to do the same process. This guy, I'm going to move out. This guy, I'm going to move out. This guy, I'm going to move out. So it was really important that I had them all selected first and made these what I call the normalizing keyframes, where I made a keyframe along this line and this line, because that just made me be able to just grab them all and just kind of slide them around. So now they all come from a different angle, and they all kind of stay there for a second, and they all get sent out. One more thing, you do have some volume on there, so once again I can shift select all of them, and I can just pull down the audio so I don't even hear it. I can also remove it, but I'll just, if I just click audio, does it delete? Nope. Nope. I'll just, oops, undo. I'll just pull it down just to -92. That way there's no audio. If you wanted to throw in a song at the very bottom of your comp layer, you could as well, but that's not necessary. So I just did one. Okay, I did one group set. They're all keyframed. They all have text identifying them. It's looking really good. Okay, that aperture, remember I open it up into another composition, right? So that is right here. I should probably rename a few things. So aperture 5 should be all. So I'm going to just go down here, rename, or I can hit enter, and I'll say all, all comps, right? Because those are going to be all the compositions. And then aperture 4, just to not confuse it, I'm going to call it aperture or app perspective. And if I hit enter, I'm going to say app for aperture perspective, because the other one's aperture for close-up. Okay, so that one's my first one, and then I've made other ones. So this is my shutter speed one, and I can just drag that into my timeline as if it's footage, right? And there's my second one of me running around. I can trim this a little bit here, and I can trim this a little bit over here. I want you to just kind of repeat this multiple times. Let's see, I want this to be done right there. Everything should be keyframed. So I need to go back now and keyframe this one. You could also keyframe the composition. So I could activate the stopwatch and keyframe this as well. And the other thing I'd like you to do is identify what I'm looking at before it shows up, just for a few seconds. So nice blank canvas. Go with my text, my obnoxious colors, and type in aperture perspective. And the other one's aperture close-up perspective. Boop. I can make them center justified if I wanted to. I can make them bigger. All that stuff is over here. So this is my very, 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 very quick, very, very, very bad demo. This is me without any stops, without any edits, just quickly going through everything we kind of covered in class. And I'm pretty sure I misspelled aperture as well. And I don't want it to exist the whole time, so I'm just going to have it Command-Shift-D, get rid of that top one. And then my next thing would be shutter speed. This one's shutter speed. Okay. Exporting. What else did I need to cover? Let's find out. I have that list there for us. All right, so we've talked about importing, using tracks, composition and settings, talked about text, talked about positioning your footage, talked about tracks and stacks. By selecting several of them as a stack, you can make one change and it goes to all of them. And then I talked about compositions and subcompositions. Let's talk about exporting. You can go straight to the export queue, which is what I did before, the render queue, excuse me. So if I go up top to File, and I choose Export, and I say Render Queue, okay, Render Queue won't compress it to H.264. You could export this and then export in QuickTime or something else as H.264. The one thing I wanted to point out was to change what you're exporting, you're going to go to your output module here, and you're going to select your desktop, and you can rename it right here, manual settings, advanced film, in the last name, right? You can hit save, and then the output module, this is where you change it, but it should be QuickTime. It should have a video output. It used to have H.264 here, which is really bugging me that it doesn't. So do ProRes 422. That's a pretty good ubiquitous codec. It's going to be rather heavy. And you're going to hit OK, OK, and then you're going to render from the render queue. That's going to be a huge file. If you watched in class today, it is 400 megabytes versus 18 megabytes. So the other way you can do this is make sure that you're in the right comp, right? So make sure you're in the right comp, and I'm going to select this up here. It's going to be highlighted in blue, and I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go back to Export, and I'm going to choose Adobe Premiere Pro Project. What this is going to do is it's going to open this up and ship this out to Premiere, and then you're going to export. Oops, I don't want to replace this. You're going to export this from Premiere. I want to get rid of 2, 3. I've done this a lot now. It makes it a Premiere project that you can then open up. You'll find the sequence that's called All Comps, and you can export that out just like you would before. So here's my, oh, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. But the sequence, you go File, Export, Media, and then these are the settings you're used to. Format H.264, output name thing. So you can actually synergize and jump your After Effects projects back into Premiere to export, because H.264 is not in the render queue for After Effects. And if you find a way to do it directly from After Effects, go for it. Or if you wanted to download Media Encoder, that'll export it a little bit faster. So that's my fast version, and I hope I did okay.